It's been a long time since I've talked about Fresh and Fit, and I miss the fellas. So I decided to go pay them a visit. And I came across this video that I thought was very interesting. It's a caller who is calling in to the Fresh and Fit, and all I have to say is that this caller destroyed Fresh, right? Fresh's confidence left the chat. Fresh was so unbelievably quiet, beat up. He didn't say one word when that caller was roasting him, that at the end of that call, I thought that Fresh was gonna ask Myron for a hug. So let's go ahead and break down the call as well as Fresh's stoic expression throughout the entire video.
From watching your show, been watching your show for a while, and I believe that you could relegate Fresh's contribution to the podcast to 4 buttons on your stream deck. I also have a book that has been already written on Fresh's contribution to the show. It's called Why Myron Deserves Fresh.
Before I continue, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Camp Hustle 1, who is the caller who called out Fresh. And of course, all of the material that I'm going to provide here, or ideas, these are all of Camp Hustle's ideas. So I want to go ahead and just give him the shout out. The link is down below if you guys want to go check out his page. I just want to go ahead and give credit to the owner. All right, so the thesis of this entire call is that Fresh barely contributes to the show. And of course, I don't know if you heard that last clip where he talked about having a book where it reads Why Myron Deserves Fresh. It's kind of a parody of Why Women Deserve Less. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious because he actually has a photoshopped cover of what the book could potentially look like in the future. And if you're expecting a book to be about 100 pages long, highlighting Fresh's contributions to the show, you'd be greatly disappointed. That book is only going to be about 3 pages long, which means that it's going to be a thin ass book. That book is so thin. Let's just say hypothetically you got bored halfway through, even though it's like 3 pages long. You would need to use tooth floss to keep track of your reading progress. You can't use a bookmark because it'll be too big. That's like attempting to park a 747 Boeing airplane into your driveway. It just doesn't work like that. All in all, what I'm trying to say is that Fresh's contributions, according to the fan base, are nowhere to be seen. You could slap Fresh's contributions onto the back of a milk carton, label it missing, and no one would ever find it. Now, I want to go ahead and highlight a couple of Camp Hustle's arguments because I thought they were pretty good. And here, they're talking about how Fresh's contributions are mostly behind the scenes, and I thought that the argument was pretty good.
Caller, you understand that to do this show and do this production at this level requires a lot of things to be done behind the scenes, right?
Absolutely.
So you may not necessarily see and appreciate the things that Fresh does, but we would not be here had he not been here.
Fresh could be behind the scenes, though. That's what I'm saying. I think that one show where you had Chris in his place, way better. Hey, I know you guys like rag on Chris, but Chris is way funnier than Fresh.
Okay.
That's not even an opinion. That's an objective fact.
Listen, man, I've never seen anybody single-handedly destroy or even shred Fresh the way Camp Hustle did just now. And what's crazy is that the fact that he said that even Chris is funnier than Fresh, that's quite a comparison. And the reason why is because even Myron and Fresh, even they agree that Chris, every now and then, he'll say something funny.
Yo, Chris, that was a funny joke. I'll give you a plus on. Good job.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
That's the first time Chris made a funny joke in a while, bro. So
I'm impressed.
I'm actually very impressed on that one.
When I hear Myron speak those words, it makes me think that Chris is very rarely funny on the show. So imagine if Camp Hustle is comparing Fresh's sense of humor with Chris's. That is monumental. Essentially what Camp Hustle did was he lowered the bar so unbelievably low, at least based off of what Myron and Fresh are indicating about Chris's sense of humor. This means that Fresh has rarely ever, based off of that standard, ever been funny on the show. And I can kind of agree with that because I don't remember the last time Fresh was funny on the show. I don't even remember him saying anything clever or even anything remotely funny. The only times that Fresh is funny, at least in my eyes and what I listen to, is when Fresh, he attempts to give an opinion and then like at the end of it, he'll be like, nah.
That's what she said.
No. As a logical answer here, just give me your opinion. If you have sex on camera and you get paid for it, what are you?
You're a porn star or a sex worker.
Okay.
By definition, yeah.
But technically speaking, logically speaking, if we're going to go by definitions, wouldn't that make you a finish it.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Fresh,
All
come on, man.
I'm gonna leave it there. Fresh.
Because
Like he'll just retract because he just, for some reason, whenever he looks at a woman eye to eye, he just has to look away. At least that's the impression I get, that this is like weakness from him. Now, I do want to go ahead and say that I don't see Fresh as weak, but imagine you have a community of people who believe that being alpha is peak manhood, and they see that and they're thinking like, hey bro, are you peak male? Are you alpha? Nonetheless though, Camp Hustle, he ends up making a great argument once again. And Fresh, he ends up looking into his back pocket to see if he can find the most cliche talking point possible to rebuttal his point.
Important part. The important part is your contribution to the podcast.
You're trying to be funny, but you don't know what I do. And actually, I'm going to brag about it on the show.
Nobody knows what you do. That's the thing. You
Exactly.
have a T-shirt that says "Nobody knows what I do."
Exactly, but
I think that's like the best meme in the world because
Caller,
it's like you actually like you get it.
why do I have to explain what I do to you?
It's well, the thing is, what you do should be self-evident. What you produce should be self-evident. You shouldn't have to prove yourself to anybody.
Now, that is a good point, at least in terms of being a speaker. If you're going to go on a podcast and you're going to be a co-host and you're going to be giving people a prescription for a lifestyle, then I think it's important that you're able to provide your own philosophy and are able to articulate that in a very well constructed manner. But unfortunately for Fresh, he doesn't exactly ever, it seems like at least, he doesn't exactly ever think about these situations or issues. Instead, he just kind of just goes with the flow. Somebody who actually sits down and thinks about their own philosophy and are thinking about ways to properly articulate that, you could tell that that person has a lot of passion into what they do. For Fresh, it just kind of seems like that's not the case. Not only that though, whenever he's pressed about any issue, it's always just a one sentence response with absolutely no substance. Like for instance, Camp Hustle ended up pressing Fresh about a certain clip that was circulating at the time where he asked Myron, or I don't know who he asked, but he asked, how do you guys jerk off?
Common sense.
Yeah.
There you
Kamala
go.
Henderson.
Yeah. But nigga said jerkins. What the fuck?
Jerk. Wait, how you niggas jerk off?
Huh?
Pause.
Wait, what?
Wait.
Fresh.
I'm just curious, bro. Like, is that what niggas do? I mean, I don't use it, but like, I heard niggas use jerkins.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is Camp Hustle lightly pressing Fresh about the issue.
I wanted to know, what did you mean by that when you asked that question? Like,
Oh.
it just kind of came out of nowhere.
Oh yeah. I was trolling. I was trolling.
And this is Fresh's answer to everything. I don't know one situation where you'd ever ask another grown man, how does he jerk off? It's like, why would you genuinely ask that question?
And here's the thing. If Fresh would have just answered with conviction and would have told him something along the lines of, well, I was just curious. You know, I mean, I'm a man, I jack off. I'm pretty sure other people jerk off too. I would like to know, like, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong. I ain't gay or whatever the case is. I think that if he would have spoke with conviction, I feel like probably they would respect him a lot more, because it's not just this issue, it's all sorts of issues. They also, Camp Hustle also pressed them about, you know, that one woman having dirt on Fresh, and Fresh said, oh yeah, it was just trolling once again.
Do you guys remember the black woman that had the pink hair, the green dress, and she had some dirt on you, Fresh? It was when DJ Academics was on the show.
I remember.
And she's like, oh, I got some Okay, did you ever find out what that dirt was?
100%. It was trolling.
What was it?
It was
Can
nothing.
you tell us?
And trust me, he doesn't even get to the bottom of that question. So personally, to me, I think that Fresh, he kind of has, I believe, a personality problem, or perhaps a philosophical problem, because he doesn't know himself, at least based off of what I'm hearing. Every single time he has to answer a question about himself, he just does not know how to articulate it properly. Or he probably has a perspective that probably guides him into thinking that, listen, if I speak up, perhaps I'll face major repercussions, like get into a physical conflict. Like for instance, that one time where DJ Academics, he just completely took over the panel, and you just see Fresh in the background trying his best to just cut off the show.
Oh, it's some real shit. What's going on right now? What is niggas doing right now?
Yeah.
What's the point of this shit?
Why is that
No, she don't.
LGBT
No, she don't.
community to cancel this nigga? Why is the LGBT community to cancel
Y'all
him like
niggas off the chain right now, bro. This shit is getting ridiculous.
What's up?
You saw how Fresh lost control of the entire panel and DJ Academics just ended up taking it over. Fresh tried to end the stream, but he couldn't. He just couldn't stop the stream. He barely managed to stop it. But overall, he just lost control of the panel. That's what I'm talking about. He doesn't have the conviction to take control of the situation. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Perhaps there's a moment where Fresh, maybe he did something where it had you scratching your head thinking like, is this alpha? You know, leave it in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think. And don't forget to go check out Camp Hustle 1's video. Make sure that you guys watch the caller segment on Fresh and Fit. I'm going to go ahead and link it down below. It's only about 17 minutes. And then go check the response. Camp Hustle 1, he made a response on his YouTube channel. I highly suggest that you guys watch it, or even put it as background noise if you guys are doing homework for college, or if you guys are working at your night shift, or whatever the case is. Because what I talked about here is the bare fraction of what they talked about. So highly suggest you guys go check that out. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the links down below. Go check it out. And yeah, man, that's all I have for you guys. And yeah, hopefully you guys learned something today.